good. Okay, see for 1 second. All right, just came on. They have kept me bouncing off the walls now for the last couple of days with minimal sleep. I am in Detroit. There's snow on the ground. I drove up here. I was in shorts and a t-shirt. I need to make this announcement. I don't read the screen when I'm moving. It's a new thing YouTube has me say, so I'm officially saying it. But I'm here in a plant in Detroit in a really rough area. And they got some fences here that would stop an army. And I'm getting ready to head east on 94. Interstate 94 through Michigan over by Chicago, do a drop. It's a sample. But first things first, I got to figure out how to get out of this parking lot. Because this place is weird. And I call this particular section Ghettolicious because this area is rough and the roads are terrible. And I'm surprised the bottom side of my vehicle didn't get torn out from under it. So let us see if we can get out of here. Because I don't really know how this works. Let me try this way. But this is a big plant here. And I don't know if this gate opens. And I'm going to claw my way out of this neighborhood. Like I said, there's people milling around all over this place, just in the dark, just random people walking around. And I don't know if this gate opens when I pull up. We're going to find out. Oh, we are going to find out. And these gates don't roll back, they flip back. Check this out, if this does it. Let me see if it opens. Nope, this one slides back, if it opens. Anything? Ah, it worked. Ha-ha! Now we're getting somewhere. All right, I am going to... So look at this fence. Look at the top of that fence. This is a rough area. All right, I'm going to tiptoe out of here. The gate over here to my right that I came in, it actually flipped up like a Ginsu knife. It didn't slide backwards. Hold on here. All right. Bumpty bump. Yeah, I hit a couple of potholes coming over here. I thought I was going to lose the entire van. All right, here we go. Can't tell which side of the road I'm supposed to be on. And you can hear that underneath the vehicle. I don't think this is just an inherently, doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but when you have rough weather, I mean, look at these roads. It tears up the road when you get ice and stuff in it. And right now I am chasing my GPS to see if this will get me out of here in one piece. Most of the cars around here, not ironically, are American made, which I guess it's sacrilege if you drove something that wasn't American made. But this is Detroit. I am in a not good area. I picked up a box. I think it's a sample box, oil sample. And now I am working my way through this wonderful area, getting to Interstate 94, gonna chase 94 west over by Chicago direct tonight, dropping off this little tiny box. It's 6 inches square, but I drove through here a minute ago, and this is just rough. This is not the Detroit they put on the travel brochures. this is not it. Hold on here. But we have, yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's potholes up here, some train tracks. There's all kinds of lovely conditions, but there's people milling around in the dark. It is currently 28 degrees outside. Whoa. I'm going kind of slow here. But I just see random people walking around out here in the dark, and there's no houses here. This is an industrial area. Oh. Yeah, and I have to announce, I don't read the screen when I'm driving. It's a YouTube rule. Yeah, but this is the industrial hitherland of Detroit. There's another guy milling right there. But I keep seeing people popping out between buildings and stuff. It's a little unnerving. Hold on here. I gotta go up here. I'm going shockingly slow right now through here. Where is... Okay. instead of railroad tracks. Yeah, when the ice and snow settles in, it really puts a wallop on the roads. That's why we're bouncing around. Yeah, this is a rough area. Oh, ow, oh, ow, oh, ow, oh, ow. Yeah, I gotta give this guy room. Don't pull up to the light. Yeah, I'll give this guy room. Okay, oh, I'm going. Yeah, I'm looking down. Looks like Russia. Yeah, that's a pretty good look at it. Yeah, when you have a real icy, snowy area, what happens is the ice gets in the cracks and the water, and then it freezes and it expands, and it destroys the roads. I mean, in Texas, our roads are pretty nice. And we don't have snow and ice and whatnot. But it's just strange to be in this area. Like I said, there's no houses. Nobody lives here, but there's people walking around. What are you doing creeping around out here in the dark? You know? Hold on here. Got to go around this guy, I think. Hold on. We're working our way over to Interstate 94. Oh, he's back. And we're going to be going west through the state to the town of Munster, which is just across the border of Indiana next to Chicago. Whoa, big hole. There's that one. 20. Yeah. Oh, now it says 37 degrees. I guess it's a heat wave all of a sudden. Keep your doors locked. I was here a while back, and in Detroit, there's a Ford plant, and the security at the Ford plant was crazy. It looks like big bump. Oh. It looks like they had all these gates around the plant, and they were not only closed, but they had giant concrete blocks in front of them. And I'm kind of trying to find my way in, and I'm circling this humongous plant. And there's everywhere you go, there's another gate that's blocked off with these, waist-high concrete blocks, and then the fence line has concrete blocks. So I'm like, this is weird. So I drive right around a big area. It took me a while. Finally found a gate to go through, and there was this heavy-duty gate that went up and down like one of those paper cutters. You lift one side, has a pivot point, and there was a woman sitting in a car, in a pickup truck, in front of the gate. And when somebody would come out, they would stop at the gate guard, and they would talk to them, and I guess interact with them. And then the gate would open, and the woman in the truck would move the truck. And the guy would drive out, and then as soon as he went out, the truck would back up and block the gate. I'm going, okay, that's her job. Just pull forward, pull back, pull forward, pull back. I was like, all right, that's interesting. And I ended up talking to one of the people there, and apparently they lose 300 cars per year out of Detroit, stolen. People grab the cars and just drive through the gates, and there'll be 10 people, and they'll just smash their way out and steal vehicles. So this is the constant battle trying to get people from stealing vehicles up here. So that's why they have these fences that are 10 and 12 feet tall. Okay, this has me doing a U-turn up here. Well, this is going to be interesting. Here. I don't understand how I do this. Yeah, that's not really a U-turn area. Yeah, this isn't working for me. I gotta make a U-turn, but is this legal to turn? Okay, hold on here. I'm trying to figure this out. Keep going, dude. Keep going. Keep going. Thank you. All right. GPS. Whoa. That's a one-way street. Can't go there. All right. Looks like I made a U-turn. Okay, that was illegal, but here we go. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. Okay, that was... Yeah, you didn't see that. That didn't happen. All right, here we go. Trying to work my way onto the highway. 94, is this it? Detroit, yeah, west. And Detroit. Okay, here we go. If I can get it on the highway, I'm there. All right, here we go. Okay, getting on 94. Last time I was over here a few weeks ago, I was on 94, and the roads, I didn't realize this, but they look clear, but they were actually covered in ice, and I got my van up to cruise control, set it on, 60. I'm not in a big hurry, and I had a strong crosswind, and the crosswind was bumping the van around. And I didn't think anything of it, but then all of a sudden the bump around started getting a little bit excessive, and it dawned on me that I was driving on solid ice, and this is a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and it was trying to push the back end out from under me, and I kicked it off of cruise because you don't want to drive on cruise on ice. And I slowed down. I had to go over to Wisconsin. Got to go around the lake to Wisconsin, and that night I turned on the TV, and they had a 100-car pileup on that piece of road that I had been driving on. Wow, this is bumpy. All right, I have my next turn is in 250 miles. So this is still in Detroit. This is Interstate 94 westbound. Oh, here we go. Yeah, getting rattled here. Big Ford dealer, big Ford manufacturer on the right. Speed limit's 70. I'm doing 60 over here though. Man, look at the screen rattle. That's the road. Eventually we'll get out of town and the traffic will taper off. Oh. Alright. Yeah, there's a distinct rattle to the road underneath me. And it's loud here. One of the advantages of expediting, back off here, you travel around, you get to meet a lot of people. And I'm kind of a social butterfly. So when I bump into people, I talk. I don't just, go passive. If I'm going to sit in a restaurant, which I did today, I went into an IHOP that was next to a Pilot Flying J. And I kind of test the waters. I kind of tell a joke or talk to the person that's sitting there and see if they're receptive to, joking around. And I talked to some lady today. She was, I'm going to say, mid-30s. And we started going back and forth. She's just pleasant. It's fun to talk to. And somehow, some way, the concept of a beer stein came up. A beer stein is those things the Germans make. It's like a giant mug with a lid on top. They're really decorative. And she was talking about that she had been somewhere at some point and was trying to figure out how to, you go to these big festivals and they don't give you beer in a glass. They give you beer in this big, giant decorative stein. And she said her little brain was trying to figure out how can I, save one of these as a souvenir, because this isn't something you see every day. And that reminded me of a story that came out of Germany back in '87 when I was playing Army. I went to I was hanging out with the German Army on a reforger exercise. I had a week to hang out with them, and they had a beer tent. That's a big thing over there. They set up, looks like a circus tent, a big gigantic circus tent. They have tables in it. These women are walking around in these traditional German lederhosen things. It kind of pushes their boobs up on you, and they carry these giant beer steins around, and you pay. I think there was a cover price to get in. I'm not a drinker. Wasn't one back then. I'm not one now. But they walk around and deliver these giant steins, and these things are beautiful, so your brain goes, wow, that'd be nice to have. And as you walk out, there's a door, not a door, but a hole. Wow, look at all these cars. There's a hole in the wall where you walk in and out, like not a door, but just an opening. It's maybe 12 feet wide. And there's a guy standing on either side of the door. And everybody's walking out with their wives and stuff. And of course, they got their purse slung over their arm. And the guys don't say anything. If a woman has her purse or her bag, the guy just reaches over and takes the bag. It's under your arm. He just grabs it, opens it, pulls out the beer stein, and sets it on the table. Now, what are you going to do? Protest? How dare you touch me? How dare you grab my bag? Well, there's what's in it. And they set it on a table, which is full of these steins. And then there was like 30 or 40 people standing outside in the dark, laughing at you. And then basically what happens after you've been, humbleized in front of these people is these people would step out and join the crowd. And then the next couple would come out talking, acting like they're not doing anything. And the guy on the other side would grab the purse, yank it out, and everybody would start laughing. And of course, they're all humbleized, and they would join the crowd. And it was like every single person, every single couple that walked out of that place was trying to snatch one of these steins. And it was like 100%. It wasn't like some people had them, everybody had them, but everybody thinks they're being sneaky. And and I was talking to her about that, and she started laughing. She goes, "I'm glad I didn't try to steal one." I said, "Yeah, because everybody's along those lines." All right, the roads calmed down a little bit here, and we're driving. Yeah, expediting. This job is it's all based on cargo and need, and it's like hot and cold. There's no middle ground. I came back on hitch. I live north of Houston, not exactly a hotbed of outbound cargo, and I got stuck there for a week. They couldn't find or couldn't bid successfully on a load getting me back up here, so I had a bad 6-7 days. I'd rather be at home though, having it. But I got a load out of Houston to North Carolina, and since then I have been running wide open. That was Tuesday, and they have kept me full, loaded, and going ever since. And I mean, I'm running on sleep deprivation. That's why my videos kind of tapered off, because I was driving the whole time, and it's hard to talk when you're asleep. You know, it's not working. So. I drove through the night and dropped off at a concrete plant. There's the big conveyor belt that moves the dirt or the rock up the belt and drops it into a trailer or a hopper. I've delivered the conveyor belts, but this time I delivered the wheel that turns the conveyor belt, and I dropped it off in the middle of the night. I slept a little over 2 hours, and then I had to drive 30 miles and grab a load and deliver it a little over 100 miles. And then I slept, I don't know, a few more hours, and then I went about 4 hours this afternoon, and I was supposed to have a 10 o'clock pickup, and I actually got it at 8 o'clock. That's the thing, is when they give you a pickup time, that doesn't mean get there right at the pickup time. Come in early. Don't be late. Come in early, and more times than not, the load is ready. So I got there at 7:30 for a 10 o'clock, and it looks like oil samples. And the guy's like, "Oh, here it is." So I'm on the road 2 hours early, and I'm doing this direct shot over to Munster, Indiana, which again is right by Chicago. And now I'm out here on 94. I really like this road. It's an east-west road through Michigan. It parallels Interstate 80, which is down south, and Interstate 80 is a toll road, and I'm not real fond of toll roads out of principle, if nothing else. So here we are. This is the job, and I can't imagine doing this in a big truck, because you're zigzagging into small neighborhoods and having to find places, and it's just, yeah. I mean, the address took me to this giant plant, and I gave the gate guy what my pickup was, and he said, I don't know, I have a clue where to send you. So I had to call dispatch, and they gave me a little bit more information. There we go. And the guy's like, "Oh, that's a chemical, that's right there," and it's a little tiny building off to the side. But there's, these big plants will have a half a dozen places they do cargo in shipping and receiving items. So I have this little 6-inch square box here in the back. And I got my van set on eco mode because it doesn't weigh anything. And we're going. I'm supposed to be getting there at 11 o'clock tonight. This is direct delivery. I do a lot of these. I've done direct back and forth between Toledo and Detroit. It's about 90 miles. I've done runs just back and forth all night long. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because they're manufacturing some component that they need desperately, and they can't make them fast enough. That's happened before. But this is the east side of Detroit. We're somewhere near the airport, looking at the GPS. But we're westbound on 94. The roads got nicer, at least. Detroit used to have a population, from what I have looked at their peak in 1950, it had 3.5 million people, and the last number I saw was 700,000. So the manufacturing firms are still here, it's just the population doesn't live here anymore. And I had been in and out of some really rough neighborhoods where houses are abandoned and boarded up, and there's a lot of those, a lot of them. When I was zigzagging around here, they have really strange roads as far as how you can turn and where you can turn. they have a lot of, you come up to an intersection, you want to turn left, coming up, but no, you have to turn right and go down a block and whip a U-turn and turn left. It's just, it's odd. And this is the only place I've ever bumped into that. And as an outsider, it's weird. There was a very convenient Pilot Flying J that I used to stay at just south of Detroit. I think it's in Dearborn. And I had shot a video there a few years ago. You're up, dude. A few years ago, and there was like 40 vans. It was a very popular place to hang out because it was real close to all the action. And you're at the truck stop, so you have access to food, a bathroom, the showers and stuff. I think I called it the Expedite Van Rodeo or something, but that was years ago. And you pull in there now, and the parking lot's empty. And I asked about it, and the people that run the restaurant and the business basically kicked everybody out. And I knew why, because a lot of van drivers are slobs, and they don't have the common courtesy to use a trash can. They just throw things on the ground and say it's not my problem. And they got tired of it, and I get it. You're going to come stay in my parking lot for your convenience, and you're going to leave trash everywhere you go. I don't think I'd want you there either. So I had to go find some place to hang out, and I went to another truck stop that I'd never heard of north of there, trying to find someplace just to hole up and go to sleep. And I got there, and there were signs everywhere that said parking by permit only. And I'm looking, and everybody's got a pink sticker in their window, so you have to pay to sit in their parking lot. And I don't want to try to go to sleep and then have somebody banging on my door. So I moved again, and there's different options of where you go to hide. And I ended up going to a Kroger grocery store chain, which I use up the road, and I parked in their parking lot with the bed. So that was where I got my sleep in. And the area I'm heading to, generically speaking, I know there's a bunch of truck stops right there. So I'll be able to find some place to hole up tonight. And they've already got another load for me in the morning right in that exact same area. The only bad part is we're coming up on a 3-day weekend. So unless they have something exciting planned, I'm going to have 3 days with nothing to do. Which means it's movie time / museum time. Which is what I do. There's a lot more traffic out here than I thought I was going to run into. So turn off at 275, Toledo, Flint. Turn off. Yeah. No, thank you. At least the roads are dry. Makes it easier. It's 28 degrees outside. And I was in South Carolina a day and a half ago, and it was 70. Or North Carolina, I should say. So I got to talk to a nice person today, and I enjoyed that. I like interacting with people. And I got apples and some bananas and stuff to eat on the road. And I whipped into the Kroger, and it's an older building, and they had two security guards walking around, which kind of makes you stop and scratch your head while you have this issue here. Because where I'm at, it's really nice, and they don't have any of that stuff going on in Texas. But I was able to stock up there. Gas, by the way, gas up here is tickling $3 a gallon. And as you can see in my other live streams in Texas, I saw it at $2.11. So that's the difference in the price of doing business. Yeah, my drive, I dropped that wheel for the conveyor belt cross country. The last 45 minutes of my drive was on 2-lane roads out in the middle of the country and stuff, and I got to use my high beams, which I really like on this van because they're buckets. They're giant bucket lights, and they work really well. And I was driving through little one traffic light towns, and ironically, I got caught by the red light every time. Every time. And there's nobody around, but I know if I just run through the light, a cop's going to appear out of the bushes. So I got held up. And that's the thing about when you're out here expediting. let's say you have a 7 o'clock or a 6 o'clock in the morning delivery and you get in the area at midnight, go see if they're open, because a lot of these businesses are open 24 hours a day. And that's, the idea is to get it there as fast as you can, because that's why they're using an expediter. It also gets you back on the board for another load. Because there might be, and this actually happened in North Carolina. I dropped early and I got on the board, and they said there's 3 other vans in the area for our company I work for. And they said there's 3 other vans in the area, but they don't deliver till the morning, and they're waiting. I went, dummies, they're there. They can deliver it now, but the delivery's scheduled for the morning, so they're going to wait. I'm like, okay. So I actually got in front of everybody, and then I got a load out of there real quick. So, what is this guy doing on the right? Oh, changing the tire. Yeah, talking about the Detroit area. I hit a bucket today. I came around a corner, and I was in a wall of cars, nowhere to go, and there was a 5-gallon bucket. And my ability to swerve was limited, and I went bang, and then I heard the sound of rushing air. And I thought I had lost a tire, and I pulled off, and I looked underneath it, and the tire wasn't popped, but the bucket was stuck under the van on the right side. And I drove a little bit up on the curb, and it lifted the van up, and I got the bucket out from under, and there was actually no damage. The sound I was hearing was the bucket jammed under the suspension, rubbing the tire. If anybody's jumping on here, I apologize. YouTube rules, I'm not allowed to read what's on here unless I'm stopped, which I'm not stopping anytime soon. So I'm just letting you know, I am in Detroit. I just went into a ghetto area with some really bad roads and some extremely heavy-duty security to pick up some samples, and I am on Interstate 94, which is the main east-west run here through Michigan, and I'm going westbound to the town of Munster, Indiana, which is right up against Chicago, just across the fence here, across the border. A direct drive, and it's I'm carrying samples. Looks like oil samples. It's 27 degrees outside, but the roads are dry, which makes life grand. And I'm on cruise control. The speed limit here is 70. I'm over in the right lane going 61. I'm not that big of a hurry. I save gas doing this, and I get out of everybody's way. I let them all go shoot past me. But I'll be listening to some podcasts tonight. Give myself and my brain something to do. And when you're in Detroit, since this is Motor City up here for manufacturers, you start noticing the percentage of American-made cars is extremely high. Extremely high. And like 95%. There's a rest area. I've spent the night in that rest area. There's a rest area way over here by Lake Michigan, about, 200 miles from where we're at. And I'll probably pull in there and reload my water bottles and stuff. But that'll probably be my next stop. Alright. Wanted to jump on here and let people know what's going on. Interesting stuff happens. I try to jump on, and one of the problems I'm running into is, talk about phone reception. Every time I get somewhere, the terrain starts to look interesting. All of a sudden, the live stream drops, and you get this little symbol, little twirling symbol that says reloading or reconnecting, and sometimes it just doesn't reconnect, and you can't get on there and say, I'm sorry, it's not working, because you can't tell them that. And it's always when the terrain gets interesting. So that was my check-in for tonight. I don't know what happens. Tomorrow I got another run during daylight hours. I may come up and do that one because you can see more. And we can go from there. But I'll let you guys go for now. Take care. Thanks for jumping on. So you can see what it looks like out here at night. 27 degrees in Michigan. Slight wind off the right. I'll catch up with you guys later.